Hi, I'm Pavithra Khedkar, an architect and urban designer. Today I'm going to show you how to simplify your post-production workflow. Even if your render isn't perfect, I'll teach you how to transform your Lumion or Enscape scenes into realistic, polished visuals using Photoshop with fast, clean, beginner-friendly techniques powered by Material ID maps. So before we jump in, let's make sure you are exporting your renders along with their Material ID maps. These maps assign a unique color to each material in your scene, letting you to quickly select them in Photoshop by just clicking on the color assigned to your material. It's like a shortcut for isolating materials and textures. This is going to make our post-production process so much more faster and cleaner.
Okay, so we know how to start a new file. So I'm opening Photoshop, going to new file, and then I already have my custom document ready. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open it, my 17 by 11 board, clicking on it, and I'm just gonna say create. I have my board open. I have my ruler turned on, already set to inches, so I don't have to worry. Now I'm just gonna go and import file, open. I'm gonna go find the two images. And once it comes in, it'll ask me, is it okay? Can I fix it up here? And then I give the check mark on the top, or I hit enter. It's only brought in one, so I'm going to go back with another one. And it pastes exactly in the center. Both of them are the same pixels and same image size. So they would get pasted onto your screen exactly one on top of each other. So I'm just going to say done. I'm going to drag the actual picture onto the top, and I'm going to have my material ID map here. So I can just turn on and off and toggle between the board. Now I'm going to say command 0, which means it fits it to the screen for me. Let's say the grass that is here, this render, is something I don't like. I'm going to take my wand tool and try and select this. It selects the texture pattern. It selects only some colors. It doesn't select the rest. And then I'm having this kind of very bad selection, which I don't want to waste time on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say command D. I'm going to exit the selection. I'm going to go to my material ID, which is right underneath. Turn this off for a bit and select it. It immediately selects the whole spot for me. I don't want the Lumion logo, so I'm just gonna go over it, selecting my lasso tool. And I make sure that I'm on add to selection. And then I just go and select it. So I've selected the grass portion of it. When I'm bringing in these two images, I want them to be smart objects. Okay, so do you see the small thumbnail that says it's a smart object? I'm not going to rasterize this layer. Rasterizing this layer makes it an editable layer, but I don't want it to become an editable layer, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer, and I'm going to call it my grass. Go on Google, open Pinterest, and find grass seamless texture. Whichever you feel like you want to go for. Like, for example, if you're going for just like a very artistic look, you could go and even select this one. If you're going for something more realistic, then you could try something like this or something like this. If you're going for artistic, again, you can do this. So I'm going to show a couple of variants for you guys. Whether you're downloading from Photoshop or Photoshop textures, make a folder on your computer or your PC so that you can have all your textures already preset and selected. This saves you a lot of time when you're working. Now I have my grass layer and I have all the grass that I want. So how I'm going to go open it is go to my file. I'm going to select my grass that I selected. I'm going to open all of them with Photoshop. So once I open them, they are a new file. Okay, let's say this is the one that I want to select first. Just like how we selected texture, the same way I'm going to create a pattern. So I'm selecting this using the rectangle marquee tool. And then I go to edit and I say define pattern. And I'm going to call it my grass 1. I say okay. I go to the next one, select it, edit, define pattern, my grass 2. Okay. Going back to the other image, selecting it, and then I'm going to go to edit, define pattern. I'm going to call it my grass 03. Doesn't have to be open. Now that I've created presets from these, I'm just going to turn them all off. Now I'm going to go to my paint bucket tool. I'm going to switch from foreground to pattern. And then I'm going to see my grass over here. So let's say this is the grass that I want to do. Okay, that's how it looks. Let's say I'm not very happy with that. Let's try the other one. So this is a very artistic way of doing things if you want to like make it look funky and not very realistic. Now let's try the other one. I feel this is good enough. I'm going to reduce the opacity in a way that it actually looks more realistic. So it's actually going to bring some of the grass that we already have coming through. This texture looks bad, but coupled with this texture, it looks slightly realistic to me and it doesn't catch the eye too much, and my scene looks a little subtle. Okay, because number one, it is in the foreground and I want it to be mellowed down because I'm trying to pay attention and focus to my street, and that is my major focus area. Now let's say this pavement. Okay, I don't like how it looks. So to select the pavement, I'm gonna go and try selecting on the image. And when I try selecting on the image, it starts selecting everything that is, in conjunction to it, and it starts picking the color, right? We don't want to do that. That's the reason we have the ID map. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go to the ID map and try selecting it. This is a little tricky, but it's still okay. Let's say I need to adjust this. So I'm going to use subtract. I'm going to go to my lasso tool selection and I'm going to make sure that I'm here on subtract from selection. Then I'm going to select everything that I don't want, and I'm just removing out of the selection. Now that we selected it, I'm going to call it my pavement. And I'm just going to give it a temporary color for now. So when I'm just giving this brick, for example, do you see how it is like laying the brick as if it is a flat surface, but actually we're seeing this in a perspective angle, and that's not exactly how it's supposed to look. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to give it a temporary color for now, so it's easier for me to select it. I'm in pattern, that's why I'm not able to give it a color. I'm going back to my foreground, and I'm just giving it a color, and make sure that I'm on my pavement layer when I'm doing this. Exactly, my pavement has been selected. And when I'm seeing far away, let's say when you see far, you might not be able to see texture. So I need to make sure that whatever texture pattern that I'm choosing for my pavement here needs to be very close to this. For this pavement, I'm going to go choose another texture. So we have different pavement options. Okay, let's choose this one. I'm going to save this. Let's use that for now. So this time, I'm not going to create a brush preset. Instead, I'm going to bring it and I'm going to just make sure to use it on here. Drop in my image onto my screen. That's the original size of the image. So it has a good resolution. I'm going to make copies of these. So to make copies, I'm holding on Alt and making copies. Once I make my copies, I'm going to select all my copies together and I'm going to merge them. This is because I want to keep the scale of it and I do not want to scale up the whole image. Okay, so I'm going to merge layers. Okay, this is my merged layer. Now I'm just going to keep it here. I may have to make another copy of this. And I'm going to skew this in perspective. And before that, I'm actually merging them again. I'm going to make another copy, duplicating this layer. I'm going to turn this off. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to have a copy just in case I mess up. So I'm going to go to my pavement layer and I'm going to go to my move tool and then I'm going to right click on it. Then I'm going to hold on control and I'm going to make it flatten out on the ground. I'm just flattening it out as much as I can. So it seems like it belongs to this plane. Then what I'm going to do is go back to my selection tool. I'm going to turn this off. I made the pavement selection already here. I'm going to select that. Once I do that, I'm going to go to my pavement layer, right click, and then say layer via copy. I've applied my pavement. Now do you see that it is to scale and it doesn't look wonky? It doesn't look like it's been applied on Photoshop and it looks like it is actually from the image. I'm going to delete all the other layers that I used to create this. You could keep it if you want to apply it on other spaces, but in this image, the scale of the image is such that I actually can't see much texture going on even if I had it. So I don't want to spend time to do the background because it's too small. And this is the only scalable item in the foreground that's super visible. So I'm going to delete all the other layers that I used for creating this layer. So this is my new pavement. To give it some depth, you can actually go to your blending options. I'll just zoom in before that so you can see. I'm going to my blending options. You can show inner glow. Let's say I want to show more inner glow. So I'm going to increase the size. Okay. And you can increase the opacity of the inner glow if you want. You can improve or decrease the size. You can check for the range, how you want it. Okay. You can go to color overlay. For example, if you want to choose like a darker grass or darker green, you can just go and change that. You can play around with opacity. You can also do a gradient overlay if you want, just to make things look more realistic. Okay, you could go to contour lines. There are more contour options that you can actually play around with. So does this look more realistic versus this? This is how you can actually start playing around and understanding how to start modifying your foreground, your background, your textures, in case you don't get the right one in Lumion and in case you don't have the time to actually change it on Lumion. So you are working in groups and you're not able to give the 100%, you can always take it to Photoshop and do some post-production work on Photoshop and give the images their life back. So other things that you could do is, for example, you could add more people, you could populate. Let's see how to do that. Since you have realistic people in this image, let's go ahead and choose more realistic people. I'm just going back to check what clothes the people in the scene are wearing. They're wearing very casual, summery kind of clothes. So the people that I'll have to be selecting should be very similar. So this image here is very close to that. So I'm going to just save this image. Whenever you're using people in the foreground, which means they are almost very close to your camera, make sure the image quality is high and there is no fuzz or anything. For example, this one is really good. Even this one looks very realistic. So let's copy them. And the group ones that I saved earlier, you could use them in the background because they're not as high quality. I'm just opening all of them in Adobe Photoshop. So we have an actress in our...
Katie Holmes.
Oh, we have Katie Holmes in our render today. So create a duplicate layer. Katie Holmes. She has a lot of white in her clothes, so it's getting selected as well. But we can't do too much. I'm just gonna go to subtract selection and quickly run my subtraction tool. And I'm just gonna delete my background. So I've selected whatever I want to delete. Okay, and making sure that there's more spaces that I need to select. Once I do this, I'm just gonna hit on delete on my keyboard. Okay, so I have Katie and her daughter. Moving them to my, just gonna move it and place them here. So to scale them, if you can actually observe the people on the street, some of them are here. I'm just gonna draw a line to their heads, okay? Just drawing a line to people's heads, just to understand my scale. So I'm just pulling some guidelines from my ruler. And if I were to place her on this platform, so that's where her head is supposed to go. So I'm just gonna scale her down. And there we have Katie to scale. Okay, so she is further in the front from all these people. So even though her head alignment is exactly on the horizon as other people, her leg is more forward in, so she is more on the foreground, and that's why she looks taller than the other people. The more you shrink her, she goes back and she's almost in scale with these people. So that's your scale to proportion of people in a scene. So the best part about this is you can quickly remove the background once and for all, and you can use all of these people on your scene if you have like high volumes to populate. Duplicate the layer. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna hit select tool and see if I'm able to select most people. Most people, good selection. And you might notice that they all have their own shadow selected as well. It's a good thing if you don't have any people in your image and you need to add people with shadows to make them look like realistic people. This is a very gloomy day scene. There is not much shadow going on, so I'm not going to bother much. But otherwise, you will have to bother because the sun hits these people in a different angle, so your angles would look very off. So while choosing people with shadows, you will be seeing light and shadow, which is sunlight and shadow. So you need to be very careful of how you're placing them according to your sunlight. This lady's skirt is selected completely, so I'm just going to deselect it. Okay, and I just have to click on delete once, and I should be able to use all of these people. Delete and Control D. So now I can just select whichever person that I want quickly, and I say lay away a copy or lay away a cut. I'm just going to cut all these people out. You need to be in the main layer to be able to cut. We usually don't add too many people showing their backs, but we definitely add them on the crosswalks to show that people are crossing the road. Definitely use these kind of people. So these are the people that we have carved. So I'm going to start populating my scene over there. So I'm just going to select all the people that I want by holding on the shift on the keyboard. Selected all the people. You can, if you don't know how to select like that, you can go to your layers tab, hold on shift, select all the people, whichever is easy for you. And I'm going to drag and drop them in my scene. Okay, so these are all the people we have. You can rename them all at once. We need to scale them a little bit. Let's say this person is walking down the crossing. Let's say this person is walking to it, so this person will be smaller. Let's say this person is standing over there. Do you see the people on the cycle beside? So that would be the scale of her, even a little shorter because they are on a bicycle. Okay, so do you see the resolution of these people to the people that you brought from Lumion? This is how you create a scene. You can also create, like, for example, if it's a park scene, you can just say PNG yoga people, and you could just add a couple of people doing yoga on their yoga mats. You get the idea. Rasterizing the image. And then I'm going to delete it. This person has to be smaller. You could create your scene depending on that. You just have to make sure that the eye levels and the people heads like match and align. The scale of the people is very important when you're doing this. So make sure that all of them are, into scale, built in with your other people. So definitely bring a couple of people from Lumion just for the purpose of scale as to how to populate the scene, and you can populate them accordingly.
Thank you for watching this video, and if you had learned something from it, I'm very happy to have helped you. Definitely like, comment and share this video to whomever it would be helpful.